Okay, this is to show the DIY kits for the hitch steps. Um, Currently, at the moment, I only offer two styles as a DIY. This is one of them, and then there's another style. My example on how to assemble this is going to be built on a custom order one, so the inner cut will be different, but the overall structure of the whole part will be the same. It'll be the same process. Rather you have a custom design as a DIY, or if it's a pre-made design as a DIY. Okay, overall there is 13 different pieces to this kit. You have your main plate, you have your risers, you have your two back stops, you have your side stops, you have your counter side stops, your front stop, and then you have your gusseting that will go on top. You got three of those. All right, you're gonna see on your risers is you have a bend. Your bend is always gonna be bent in. So you have two pieces. They'll be like this, and they'll be bent inward like that. So when we're putting our top gusseting on and our side gusseting for our ends, we just want to make sure we have these bent inward. Just verify you have the right sizes. So your top is going to be the same length, bottom will be the same length as down here, then your front will be the same length as this edge here, and they'll all be an open corner weld. So I'll go ahead and I'll tack these on, and then I'll show them to you. Okay, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about here. Tapers in at the front. I have all of my gusseting on. So what you see me did in the video, hopefully in the time lapse, is I'm making sure that my uh, shim that goes into your receiver hitch fits on here, because these are all built as a 2-inch. If you have a 2.5-inch or a 3-inch receiver, you will just need to use a reducer. I'm just making sure that the size fits, holes line up on both sides all the way through. And because there's multiple holes, so you just want to make sure they all line up. You can put a bolt through it, a 5/8 bolt, and then that'll tell you, as long as those are lined up, it's going to fit, and that your square is the right size to fit in there. If it's not perfect 90s, this is the time to adjust that and get it corrected. Okay, one thing I did real quick, just to make it easier to get my top plate on, is I busted my front gusseting off. I trimmed it about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 inch, just on the bottom, just to make it easier to slide this on. So what I was kind of working with is, you get these on here, you have to slide them in the back, squeeze at the front so it drops down in. That way it can fall in place. Just how it was, I was even gonna try to shave just a little bit more off of here just to make it an easier fit. You don't have to do that. It's easier to get this together. You're gonna fill that gap with weld. It's not that big of a deal with the step. Um, that's what I did. So you can, if you wanted to, you can wait to put your front gusseting on until you have your front plate on, or your top plate on. Get that on, and then put your front gusset on. Whatever works for you. Okay. So then with the front on, or the top on, I mean, with the top plate on, you can flip it over, see everything lines up nice. We're going to slap a few tacks on here just to hold it. Make sure when you're tacking this, it is flat and it's not angled up or down. Make sure it's flat on here all the way through. Okay, a few tacks on there. Now we can start with our side plates. So I like to start with the back, just back here. So that's your single notch. Your edge here is always going to go towards the sides, or I'm sorry, towards the inners. So we'll go ahead and throw a magnet on this. I'm going to get these two popped on real quick, and I'll show you from there. Okay, I have the one side on. You can kind of see where I tacked it. So I have one tack up here in the corner just to kind of hold it, same angle as this. And I have one in here, which the only weld on these side plates is going to be in here. You can see it's a good 90. We're going to do that with all of these. So when I go to put this one on, have your notch facing inward. Get your triangle on here, your 90, any kind of magnet. That way you can get it straight. And look at it, take a look from the view. Again, it's a step. They don't have to be spot on perfect. You can go absolutely crazy if you want and get it dead nuts, perfectly level, flat, center, square, everything. At the end of the day, it's a step. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be throwing a tack right here, and then just one down in here. Just a small tack, just to hold it. All right. So then once you have that, start working on your sides. This is your, here it is. Oh, sorry, wrong one. These will be your sides here. Here you go. My magnet's holding it. There you go. All right. Get that square with that side. Might have to give it a little tap sometimes to get it in these tabs. Just like that. All right. I'm gonna give it a tack. One real quick one just to hold it in place. Everything still looks square. So we're gonna go ahead and proceed with the next one. Prop this up with another magnet. All right. And for this one, this will be one of your big ones. They can be reversed. However, you're always going to have a nicer cut on one side just from plasma, how it cuts it. Do the same thing with it. And what's nice is when you get to about this point, I have to give it a little tap. There we go. Almost. There we go. So once you get to this point and you know you had a perfect 90 here, you really can just line up your edge, and then that's how you know it's going to be straight with the rest of it. Just one quick tack. Let me get this underneath it to hold it again. I'll be doing. There we go. Enough just to hold it up. You got your front. Same thing with it. All right. So we have one side tacked up. You can kind of see the actual structure of how this is going to be sitting now. Just got to do two more. You can see the reason why there's a taper on these is because there's a bolt hole right here for one of your overlays, and you got to get your nut on that. If you had it tapered out, I'd imagine you could still probably get a nut on it, but your end might be sticking too far out to get your side plates on. So I'm going to go ahead and put these two on, and then I'll bring you guys back. Okay, at this point you have the full structure of your step already together. See the bottom, everything's in, everything is tacked up. Now it's just time to fully weld. So what I'm going to do is I always start at the top so I can have my open corners done and out of the way, and then it gets everything nice and hot. So once I'm starting to do my plug welds on each of these, because we don't weld across the full sides, we're not doing that. We're only welding in our plugs. And then on the bottom side, we're running a few strips on each side to hold this, and then just a few spot welds in there just to hold your front tied in, just for a little extra protection. Okay, I got my open corners done all around, top, both sides. Got my front coming down, and then I have my bottom there, and then on the other side too. So now what's left is to run a bead around the base, and then I will be plugging each of these tab holes, and that's what's actually going to hold this. And then we will be running a bead on each corner on the outside. Do not run a bead here or here or around the inner edge. Don't do that. Only around this edge. Here. Only around this edge right here. Not there, not there, not there. Only here. You'll be filling in each of these corners all around, all of them. And then you'll be plugging each and every hole on here. All of them. When you get underneath, you'll be running a small bead here, along with there, and then a small bead here, small bead there. And if you want, you can run a bead into here. I never do. There's not really a reason to, but I put two pretty large size tack welds on there just to connect your front into these riser pieces. You will also be filling that in, skipping there if you want. You can try to fill it in, not really a reason. And then right here as well. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. All right, so I got it all welded. I'll show you kind of what we're working with. I cleaned all the slag off, or I'm sorry, the spatter. So I'll start at the top where we originally left off. Everything across the top on your gusseting, the front on your gusseting, the bottom side on your gusseting. After that, went ahead and ran a bead around the edge of here. And then we moved to the back. Weld both of those there. Weld your plugs in. Move around. Weld your corner. Plugs. Corner. Plugs. Corner. Single plug. Corner. Then plugs. Corner. Plugs. Corner. The bottom side, I went ahead and just slapped a little bit in right there just because why not. Just have a few tacks in there. I just have to run two beads here, and we're done. Then you also have your overlays. Again, this one is to match the customer's custom design that he wanted. Yours will be like that, but not polished stainless unless you order polished stainless. Everything else will just be a regular steel, just like this. Just line up your holes. It's kind of hard to do with the gloves on, but it all lines up. And then you'll have other overlays. So you have your smaller ones. They go on the sides, just like that. And then you have a single large one that will match. Goes on that side. Turn it around. You have the company logo, bolts on that one. And then another small one that matches the other side, bolts on there. It has overlays all around.